Good morning. This is Adam Smith with the Colorado Real Estate Finance Group on Monday, January 30th. And of course, I'm here with your weekly zero-cost marketing and contact management tip. Remember, if you'd like more information about the free classes I teach on contact management, zero-cost marketing, social media marketing, video blogging, don't hesitate to contact me or have your managing broker or title rep do that, as that seems to be how most of these classes are arranged. But it's great information for anyone who has a direct-to-consumer relationship, like realtors, mortgage brokers, insurance agents, financial planners, and so on, and I'm always happy to share the information. All right, so let's talk about this week's tip, and I decided this morning that it really was time to get back on what kind of hard information can we really give you guys to help you expand your contact database, build relationships with those contacts, turn friends into clients, so on and so forth, that we needed to kind of depart from the, it really grinds my gears about the 99% of the people in your industry and mine and the others that I mentioned that are giving the rest of us a bad name. And the one that occurred to me was about open houses. And I started seeing open house signs again this weekend driving around my neighborhood. And I know a lot of you aren't in the Denver metro area, but we've had a serious supply and demand here in the Denver area. So open houses really have not been all that prevalent, mostly because the house is sold before there's even time to do an open house. The properties move so quickly that there was really no point in even setting one up or scheduling one. You put a property on the market, and at some points you'd have 30 offers, and even today you're still getting multiple offers, so on and so forth. So it's a little different. But what I want you guys to understand is how I think that it's an important piece of your puzzle and why. So really the tip is to do them, and it's not for the sake necessarily in this market or some other hot markets around the country for the purposes of finding people to buy that house, but it's for the purposes of these other things that I mentioned: gaining contacts, building relationships. The bottom line really is that for people coming into an open house, odds are they are your ideal client because they already own real estate or want to, which really is any and everybody that you should be putting into your contact database, into your contact management system, building relationships, making friends, making clients, having successful transactions, and having people that are going to refer you more business because you're always going to stay top of mind. I know you do. So really, do open houses, I think, is this week's tip. However, I do want you to always be cognizant of being safe. Make sure your office knows where you are. Carry a weapon if that's your thing. Ask one of your lender partners to help you and hang out with you for those 2 or 4 hours, whatever the case may be. Here's an opportunity for both of you to be adding to your contact database. Certainly make sure you're doing something to capture the contact data, a sign-in sheet, although something electronic would be really cool, those kinds of things. But I think the tip is do open houses, and not for the purpose of selling the house. Right now you probably don't need it. Do them anyway because it falls into this whole zero-cost marketing concept. All right, so that's this week's tip. Let's talk about this week's drawing and last week's winner, John Cruz in Florida. John, thank you for watching. You probably got your prize by now already, depending upon the postal service. And if you want to be this week's winner, again, like always, be the next person to perform some kind of action related to this video. If you're a YouTube subscriber, well, if you're not, please do become one. If you're a YouTube subscriber, make some kind of comment on this video. If you're catching this through social media like Facebook, then give us a share. If you're catching this on Twitter, I've got to keep track of what social media things have which actions. If you're catching this on Twitter, then give us a retweet. If you're catching it on LinkedIn, same kind of thing. And of course, if you're on the email subscription, simply reply. And don't think that we limit it to those means by any stretch. We practice and preach making sure you're communicating with your clients in whatever manner suits them. So if you want to text me, text me. If you want to call me, call me. If you want to send a carrier pigeon, feel free, although I don't think that's going to make you the first person to do any of these, which will win you this week's prize. So remember this week's tip: do open houses. Strictly for the contact management systems that we teach benefit, not necessarily just to sell a house, because you probably don't need that right now. Remember, make some kind of action on this week's video to be this week's winner, and we'll zip you off this week's prize. Have an amazing week. Hard to believe we're already a month down in 2017. Make the next 11 count, and we'll see you next time.